Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Women Are Worthy Network. Okay, be still my heart because y'all know how I feel about this phenomenal woman. Okay, first of all, we want to wish everyone a motivational Monday. We want everyone to just, relax, relate, release, kick up, take your favorite beverage, and let's talk. I'm your host, Jacqueline Charles, with the Women Are Worthy Network. So again, y'all know this is one of my favorite WNBA players. We have Dr. Chantel Tremitiere, okay, also known as Auntie Chantel. And I'm telling y'all, I think she really my aunt. Whenever I see her on TikTok, I'm like, go Auntie, go Auntie. My husband's like, you need to chill. So when I tell you this woman is phenomenal and she is so humble, I want you to check. Let's talk a little bit about her story. Now, Auntie Chantel, growing up in a family of 15 children, let me come a little closer. I said 15 children, as tough as it is. So she had 11 of which were adopted, and another, excuse me, Auntie Chantel also had to overcome racial, financial, and emotional issues. This woman is a pioneer. She's a multi platinum recording producer, Disney actress. Hold on, because when I tell you, I got to take a sip. Her resume is long. So without further ado, we would like to talk to my auntie, y'all, my auntie, Dr. Chanel Tremitiere, also known as Auntie Chantel. Hello, Doc. How are you?
How are you?
Look, right now, I don't need anything for my anniversary in October. I got it. You hear me by having you on the show.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Glad to be here.
And and I found out you're also a cancer survivor.
I am. I had thyroid
Wow.
cancer in 2015, but she picked the wrong one. She shouldn't have came around here, so we beat her pretty quick.
I'm trying to tell you. Who is Auntie Chantel?
Who is Auntie Chantel?
Yep.
That's the woman they see on TikTok. Uh, it's I'm that outspoken. I mean, I'm outspoken in my real life, but just somebody who tries to use basketball, use sport to unite the masses, so to speak. Some people haven't ever played basketball, haven't ever played sports. But like I'm that auntie. Everybody has an auntie, right? And so whether they're by blood or by anything else, they have that auntie who doesn't take any crap from anybody, who loves to laugh, who loves to have fun, who put everybody in their place. And so I just use basketball and TikTok to kind of do that and hope that I bring smiles on people's faces.
Well, you're supposed to bring smiles, but I'm telling you, I didn't put my lashes on today because I said this lady's gonna have me crying, and I said no, she's not gonna have me crying. And when I tell you, I was so positive that I didn't bring any tissues, and just listening to knowing your story is just so inspirational. I want to thank you for sharing your talent and the gifts that God. Oh, what the heck? I'm human. Whatever. Let the tears flow. I just want you to know that you've inspired me because there's so many things I wanted to do and I just stood on the fence. But watching you, because I'm telling you, Auntie, I'm your private stalker. When you feel like someone's watching you, that would be me. If you feel like I can't shake it, I think someone's following you, I'm busted. It would be me.
I
And
love it.
you are just, do you realize the impact you have in our community? Do you realize? Because so often we don't give people their roses until they're gone. This show, this platform today, I don't know how much I can, but what I can do is this is giving you your roses. You just don't know what you mean to me. You have no idea.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I just try to live my life the right way and do the right thing and try to be honest with people and whether they want to hear it or not. And it's worked for me so far. So, we're gonna see what the next couple decades. Hopefully I have a couple decades left and I'm closer to the grave than I am to the womb. So let's do this last, bit I have and let's go all out.
Why do you think women should support each other?
I don't think women should support each other. I think women have to support each other.
Mm, mm.
you know, from where we came from, where our ancestors, what they had to go through. I had a conversation the other day with a friend of mine, and we were talking about you know, slavery, and yes, you know, we bring it up jokingly. Obviously it's not a joke, but we bring it up jokingly, and they tell me, well, you light skinned, Chantel, so you gonna be on the inside. And I'll be like, well, I'll send you, I would have snuck you out some lemonade or something like that. But when you think about it, like, um you know what they had to go through, and you know, your life didn't even belong to you. And because of what they had to do. And you know, back then there weren't sisters or women, period, hating on each other, because they were
Right.
all struggling the same way. And I think we've kind of gone away from that. And you know, people don't understand that we're all stronger when we're fighting together. You know, you get a whole bunch of women in one room thinking on the same page, and doing the same thing. That's a pretty powerful room. And so, you know, I think that the most powerful things that happen in this country are when women come together and choose to support each other in an authentic way, right? Because you have some that'll support you in public, but then when you turn your back, then they turn in their back too. So, you know, authenticity is so important. But you know, I just think that women, that's, we've earned that, right? And we have to do that. We have to support each other just because of where we stand now.
And the reason why I created this platform is because I mentor a lot of young kids, especially young girls, and they're going by the wayside, and they don't see, they're looking at people like the Lady Gagas, and I want them to see that we have women in our community that are doing impactful things, so they're like, but they, they're not celebrities because they don't, no one's asking them for their autographs. I said, yes, someone is asking them for their autographs. When you write a check and they have to sign that check, that's an autograph. So, because I want to change their mindset, and that's why I'm creating this show or this platform, because I want them to see that we have so many powerful women that are doing amazing things in and outside of the community. So my next question to you is, you've gone through some life struggles. What kept you moving forward? Because we know we all slip, we fall, we get back up. Because I want the younger generation to hear this, because I call them youngins, and anyone who's over 40, I call them seasoned, because I don't like the word senior citizen. I prefer seasoned citizen. So when you put them both together, you got a powerful meal. So my question to you is, there's so much going around today. What kept you focused?
Right. You know, I heard in the intro you saying that I went through some emotional and financial struggles. I didn't really, but you know, I've had a lot of friends who've gone through it. And you know, fighting cancer obviously is you know, I mean, she's a bully, and cancer's coming to kill you, literally take your life. And so you have to, um, you know, adopt a mindset that, you know what, I'm just gonna win. Like, I'm gonna do what I can to win. And that was a mindset that I learned early on. And I had a great, still do, but I had a great family. My mom always kept me grounded. Rest in peace. And you know, she, you know, raising 15 kids, right? And a lot of that time was by herself, because her parents, I mean, my parents got a divorce, and we all chose to stay with her. And you know, just seeing how she fought, and she never let anything beat her. I've kind of adopted that mindset. And so, you know, I don't like to lose. Just like, you know, on TikTok, I don't like to miss. And so, you know, that's kind of gone through when people told me, you're not going to go Division 1, you know, you won't get a full scholarship to college. You know, it was my mindset to prove them wrong. And then, you know, you're not going to play in the late WNBA. You're not going to play professionally. And at that point, I was like, well, I'm gonna prove them wrong again. But then I thought to myself, you know what? I'm not gonna prove anybody wrong. I'm gonna prove myself right. And I'm gonna prove that I know the strength that I have and the support system that I have, that I can do anything. And literally, you know, when you're young and somebody says you can do anything, Like
Mhm.
sometimes it's hard to believe that, right? And especially with the age of social media and these kids feeling so entitled right now. But it's really about hard work. And they talk about celebrities and things like that. And trust me, from somebody who people are still asking me for pictures and my autograph, and
Mhm.
it's not all fun and roses. Trust me. And that doesn't make you a celebrity. And but a lot of people, they worked hard, and you're not gonna get where any successful person is without working. And
Mm.
so I'm glad that my family has and continues to be a backbone for me.
What started the whole TikTok phenomenon? Like, how did that start with the trick shots? How did that
Right.
start?
Well, I used to when I was in Auburn getting my PhD, I used to train kids, and after every session, I would say, okay, let's shoot from half court, and if you make it, you don't have to pay for today's session. And so, over almost about 3.5 years, none of the kids ever made it. And so, during my last 2 years or year and a half, when I was after I got my PhD, I was a professor, and so I went into the classroom, and one of the seniors in the class, seniors in college, was like, "Dr. Tremitiere, have you ever done TikTok?" And I was like, "What's TikTok?" And so they told me about it, and so I just thought, the next day I was like, "Let's put this on TikTok." And so the young man missed and I made it. And then people were coming on, saying, she just shot a women's ball, whatever. And then other people were commenting to them saying, don't come after Auntie like that. And that's kind of where the whole Auntie came. And a lot of the challenges early were my nieces, one of my best friend's kids, my nieces just telling me, Auntie, make this shot. And so kind of blew up a little bit, and a couple of them went viral, and so I'm just having fun with it.
And you're doing a great job too, because it's so
Thank
fun.
you.
So let's say after this interview, you get a phone call from President Biden, and he says, "You know what? You're doing something amazing. I'm going to give you, let's say, $30 million. We want to figure out something with the WNBA. What would you do with the first $10 million?"
Pay off my student loan.
Not for you.
And every other player's student loan, if they wanted to go back to college um and get an advanced degree. But with $30 million, uh I would start a team in Philadelphia. um i would
Mm,
I would pay Dawn Staley anything she wanted and have her come and coach the team. I would hire all female staff, and we win a WNBA championship year after year. That's what I
wow.
would do.
That's what I'm talking about. What do we need to do to fire it up? Where, like, why can't we have, the men are getting paid. The difference in the pay is crazy.
Right.
What do we need to do as consumers in order to help fuel that, to make it more even? Because obviously we need more people coming to the games, but what else can we do to support the WNBA players in every state, that the state that we all live in?
Well, as far as their actual salaries, right? It's I've never compared it to the NBA, just because look, the WNBA is still young. It's only 25 years in, and
Mhm,
the NBA has been around 75 years. And their first 25 years, they weren't getting paid
mhm,
very much either.
mhm.
And so maybe it'll get to that point. But, fans have to come to the games. And, you know, players, what I would do also is, you know, making these players go overseas. I mean, not making them, but in order to have a decent lifestyle, and that
Right.
you can go make 500 or $1 million overseas, and you're gonna want to go play. And so, I would have it where every single player that's in the United States during the offseason of the WNBA, I would get them deals so that they could stay in the I mean, so they can stay in the states, so they can stay in their hometown, or where the team is. Do a lot of community, work, and get out in front of the community, get to know the community, and let the community get to know them. And so ultimately, then you get more people in the stands because they feel like they know you, and that's different than the NBA, right? And after the NBA season, they go. But that's 82 games, and in the
Right.
WNBA, it's only 30. So just getting out and in front of people, and the consumers, hopefully they can keep coming to the games and we can get some more TV deals, and these women can get paid even more.
Where do you see yourself in the next, let's say, 3 years?
Myself,
Mm-hmm.
well, I have a pretty good job right now at Nike, so I as long as I'm still employed, um,
You're good.
married, and happy, I'm good. At my age, I look to tomorrow. I don't even look 3 years down the line. I got to make sure I wake up tomorrow. I'm glad I woke up today.
That's true. That's true. That's what I say. Once I wake up and I put my hand over my heart, I'm good.
Right.
I'm good.
Absolutely.
So, okay, so you've been a lot of places. Where's your favorite place to vacation thus far? And where is the place you would that's on that list? I don't like saying bucket list, but
Right.
on the list for you to go next. Your favorite place thus far and your next place you would like to go.
My favorite place was probably Hawaii. Uh, just warm and beautiful in Hawaii. Um, would love to go to Fiji, Tahiti. So yeah, that's where I want to go. That's where I want to go on my honeymoon. So we'll see.
I've always, one of the things I talk to women, because I'm plant based and I'm always talking to women about self care. We're so busy doing so many things, taking care of so many people. We're caregivers.
Right.
What do you do for self care?
I work out every day. Um, especially with no thyroid now after the cancer. My metabolism is slowed down, and my immune system is messing with my immune system, so I have to work out. And I enjoy getting up, putting on some Netflix, and getting on a bike downstairs for about 45 minutes or an hour, and then lifting weights. um don't really go to the gym too much right now because you don't know what about monkeypox or COVID or whatever. And I just figure if I have it downstairs in my basement, I can do it here. So yeah, there's nothing better than working out. And I know people say, oh, it's so hard or whatever, but you could go out and go for a walk. Get your watch and get you 10,000 steps in, and you're never too busy to go walking, like ever.
I joined, I have a walking group that we all, formed in because we're in Cobb. So we walk in one of the parks, we walk 6 miles a day.
Mm,
We get up like at 5 o'clock. We're there at 5:45 in the morning, and we walk.
right.
And it used to take us two and change hours. Now it's like an hour and 40 maybe. And because sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to go. And you have this thing, but then when you start walking and we're having fun, it's like, oh my God, my endorphins kick in, and I
Absolutely.
feel so good. I want to talk to you about because you talk about lifting weights. So many women don't understand, especially when you're a woman of a certain age, that you have to start using weights. Can you talk the importance of about weight, not just weightlifting, but just using weights? Because some of the ladies, I want them to hear this because they're so against lift using weights. They think
Right.
they're
And,
gonna bulk up.
no, you're not gonna bulk up, and right now I use a lot of bands, and
Yes.
so resistance bands are just cardio is great, but to get everything tight and right, what all of us women want, you got to lift some weights, you got to get have some resistance, and so I try to do that every day, and work different muscles every day, and yeah, just I would just suggest, look, try it and see what you think.
So now that we hear what you have a job, an ideal job. that- When you first was diagnosed with cancer, like what symptoms, what happened that brought you to the doctor? Because sometimes we have symptoms and we overlook them. I'm just tired. I'm just tired. What
Right.
symptoms was presented to you, and then you went to the doctor? And oh, well, I'll ask that next question that when you answer that.
Well, I didn't have any symptoms at first that I knew about, and so one day it was December 15th, and one of my sisters she had thyroid cancer, and so she had sent a group text out to the family and said, I think my thyroid cancer may be coming back, because it went into her lymph nodes, and so I just you know I just all of a sudden just felt my neck. I was like, let me make sure, and there behold, there was a lump there, and I said, "Wait a minute." So all night I was trying to rub it out, and it didn't go anywhere. And so the next day we had a game. We were playing Alabama. Is when I was coaching at Auburn, and after the game, I talked to the, or I'm sorry, before the game, I talked to one of the team doctors, and she said, it just might be a cyst. Let's just watch it for the next, 2 weeks or so. But it didn't feel right. Something didn't feel right with her answer, and so I wanted more. And so I talked to the Auburn head doctor after the game, and he touched my neck and he said, "Uh oh," and I'm like, "Uh oh, what is that?"
Yeah, right.
And he said, "It's your thyroid." And he said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And this was a Sunday. He said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I was like, "I'm gonna be anywhere you want me to be. You're a doctor, and you just told me, and it's my thyroid." And so the next day, I went in and got it looked at, and they said, "Look, it feels pretty big, so let's do a biopsy." And that happened 2 days later on Wednesday. They went in, and it was about 4 centimeters, and so they said, "Look, we can take it out, and you know, or I mean, we can go in, test it, do a biopsy, but I think it's so big, whether it's cancerous or not, we got to get it out." And I said, "Okay, let's go. When?" And so that same Friday, I went in and got it out. And so he said, "We'll let you know when you come out of surgery if it was cancerous or not." So I go into surgery, and obviously it was a little scary because I didn't know coming out whether it was cancerous or not. And so
Right.
when I came out, that was the first thing I asked, and they said it's not. It's malignant, and I mean benign. And so I said, "Great." And so I thought I beat cancer. And I didn't have half my thyroid, which was no big deal. And so I went back for a checkup 10 days later, and the doctor said, we have a problem. And I said, "What?" And he said, "Well, the junior pathologist thinks that it's malignant. The senior pathologist thinks it's benign. So we're going to send off the sample."
Mhm.
And so they sent it off, and about 10 days later I was in practice, got a call, and he said, you know, "We are dealing with cancer, and so we got to go back in and get the rest out." So went back in for another surgery, got it out, and did a little radiation. It didn't go into my lymph nodes,
Good.
but they said, had I listened to the first doctor and waited for about another 2 or 3 weeks, then it would have gone into my lymph nodes, and so that would have been a different story. But it was pretty good. And they say, if you're gonna have cancer, thyroid cancer is probably the best to have. There's no cancer that's the best to
Right.
have. And so, living without a thyroid is tough. It's like not knowing your gas needle in your car is broken. So you never know when you run out of gas, but when you run out of gas, you're stuck. And so, there were tough times that I went through when I didn't have my thyroid and I was waiting on that radiation. So
How do you, because just talking to you, you're talking like it's a matter of fact. And I wasn't expecting you to break down or cry or anything, but it's just, you have this thing about you. You have this swag about you. You
thanks.
have this confidence about you that so often, and that's what I want the younger generation, the young ladies to see, that we have to, believe in ourselves. We have to love ourselves. So other than your family, is there anyone else that has instilled that in you?
No, it was my mom that just instilled the belief in myself. She said, if you don't believe in yourself, you can't expect anybody else to believe in you. And so, that's kind of where I learned it. And growing up with 14 brothers and sisters, you got to speak up or you don't get second at the dinner table. And being the youngest girl, I got a lot of hand-me-downs and things like that. So I had to speak up and speak my mind, and I was okay with doing that. But I mean, it was more of just my mom doing a great job, I think, of just instilling in me, "Hey, Tremitiere, look, you got to go do it and get for yourself, and believe in yourself, so others will believe in you. You won't have to convince them, because if you have to convince people to believe in you, then
Mhm.
they really don't believe in you anyways."
So I'm thinking when you said that, your mom's like, just you got to do it, And then you end up working for Nike, whose slogan is just do it. So when you think about things, that's why it's so important for us as young women to support each other. So
Absolutely.
important. And like you, I come from a family of 8 and I'm the youngest girl. And for me, I think it was my grandfather that instilled this confidence in me. So I don't believe in you can do anything you set your mind to,
Right.
but you have to surround yourself with positive people. So do you have like a village? Do you have like a group of people, whether it's men or women, that support you, that will hold you accountable when like when you do something, they're like, come on, Chantel, now, no,
Right.
no. Do you have that?
Yeah, my brothers and sisters are still, I still have 9 brothers and 4 sisters. We lost one of our sisters last year, but my fiance, my friends, they all let me know, like, hey, I don't, I'm at that age. I kind of don't step out of line now, anyways. But if
Yeah,
I do, or if I speak where I'm not supposed to be speaking, or say what I'm not supposed to say, they check me, and I love it because they know I'm gonna check them, and so
right, right,
I give as much as I get, and I give as much as I take too. So
right.
it's a good balance.
What made you decide to pursue, going back to school to get your PhD?
My mom, uh, I
Mm,
always knew that, um, she it took her 10 years to get her doctorate just because she was raising all of us. And I didn't want her to be the only Dr. Tremitiere. And I also felt it's a little shallow, but I also thought that Dr. Tremitiere sounded a little sexy. So, um, I wanted, and people had doubted me all my life about basketball. And, they never doubted my intelligence. But, it's funny now to, I've been in certain situations where people have question my intelligence without knowing who I am and things like that. And so it's fun to go doctor on them, and yeah, it's fun to do that.
because when you think about it, when you said your mother, with all her children, she went back to school. And
Right.
that's what I want people to understand. It doesn't matter how long it takes, just get it done.
Right.
And she went back to school, and now you wanted, like you said, it sounds sexy. So, but I know, you wanted to accomplish that,
Right.
and you did that. So what do you, because regarding the younger generation, what gem would you like to leave, especially the young girls? When I tell you, some days I bang my head against the wall, and the other days I'm like, yes, because they're
Right.
lost, and I want to, and I'm telling them that we have to show them respect as well as they have to respect us as well, because it's a two-way street. It's not a one-way street. Like, you
Right.
got to respect me. Goes both ways. What jewel would you like to drop? Like, drop the mic kind of thing.
Hmm. uh Take the filters off.
Mm,
um there's so many filters on. You look at social media, there's so many filters to choose from, and by the time you're done putting all those filters on, you're not even the same person, right?
mhm,
And so when somebody meets you aesthetically, they're thinking they're not thinking about what you look like now. They're thinking about, well, wait a minute, this is what you said, or this is how you really look, but this is what you showed. And so I would say the same thing in life is take the filters off. There's so many people in this world, especially young people, trying to be like everybody else. You can't be everybody. You can't be anybody else because everybody else is already taken. So you just got to be yourself. You got to learn to love who you are in your own skin without the filters. Stop trying to do what you think society wants you to do, or behave in a way society wants you to behave, and just be you. There's gonna be people that aren't gonna like you, and that's okay. There's gonna be people that love you, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, like, the funniest thing about life is nobody's gonna get out of it alive, and so you
mhm.
might as well use what you have while you're here. Because it's a drop in a bucket compared to how many people were here before you and how many people are going to be after you. And when you go up and see the big man at the end of the day, you know, none of these friends and none of these filters, you're not gonna have a filter on you when you go up to see him, right, at Judgment Day. So you might as well live without a filter on, anyways.
I'm going to speak this into existence, but I'm going to say it anyway. I got
Okay.
to. If because your life is so interesting. You've gone through so many things, great things, and I wouldn't say obstacles. I would just say maybe some issues that you've overcome.
Right.
If someone optioned to do your life story, who would you like to play you, and who would you like to direct your story?
Oh, it's crazy because my life story is already written into a screenplay. Um, Lifetime wanted to buy it a long time ago, and what they offered me was an insult, and so I didn't take it. Um, and I just felt like my life was worth more, and it wasn't even just about monetary.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people were like, "Take it, like your movie's going to be on Lifetime," and that's fine. But if they're going to change it up anyway, so don't give me what you were, said. And obviously, I was a first time writer and things like that. But back then, even when we were talking at Lifetime, I never thought about who would play me, who would play the young me, who would play the old me. Um, and I don't know. I almost would want, because when I was born, and it's a long story I can get into later, but my name, it was an X when I was born. Um, you know, and the reason that my adopted parents had to give me up, and what was some racial stuff that went on, and I was given up right at birth. And so I knew from then, like, I'm gonna come out of nowhere. Like, I'm a nobody right now, right? I'm a no name right now, but I'm gonna make that X mean something. And so for me, I think it would be dope if they found somebody that isn't a star.
Or like an
Um,
unknown, and
Absolutely.
this would be
And
their breakthrough.
this would be their breakthrough, and it would absolutely be what Baby X was. That's what the name of it's called. And directing it, I mean, I would probably want Viola Davis to direct it, just because I
Wow,
think
she
she
gets
tells
it.
a really good story, and and
Mhm,
and she gets it.
mhm.
So,
Wow.
you know,
Oh, I like that, Viola Davis. You missed me with that one. When you said that, I'm like, whoa, I like that. You mentioned something, and so often as women, we need to understand when you mentioned your worth,
right.
it's so important that women know their worth. Can you speak about that a little? Because again, I want to address everyone, because you go for a job and sometimes women take the first job offer and you're getting paid less than men. And so let's talk about knowing the value and your worth.
Right. And it's all about doing research, and like I said, the problem with kids these days is they're entitled, and everything comes in 15, 30, and 60-second spots. So they want everything handed to them immediately. But you got to do your homework. They talk about, oh, you shouldn't talk about your salary and things like that. I'm gonna talk about my salary, because now you gonna know what I'm making. I'm gonna know what you're making. And because you don't know if you're being underpaid,
Mhm,
if you don't know what everybody else is getting paid.
mhm,
And so I think that's something that they wanted us to do from a very, very, very long time. Oh, it's not right to talk about how much you're getting paid. No, like, in the WNBA, they knew how much we were getting paid.
mhm.
So, no matter where I am, like, I want to know how much you're getting paid. If we're doing the same job, I want to know how much you're getting paid. And for me, I want to know that Ph.D. behind my name means something. Um, Hell, got to pay it off anyways. So I don't get paid for it. But
Mhm.
I think that women undersell themselves so much, and this country would become a scary great place if all of a sudden, imagine if every woman in the world, or just the United States, woke up one day and said, you know what, I'm worth more.
Mhm.
And not just monetarily, right?
Right.
Emotionally,
Mhm.
mentally,
Mentally.
physically,
Mhm,
like,
mhm.
I'm worth more. And if every single one realized their worth, it'd be a next woman president. There'd be, because at that point, obviously, there would be some men that are threatened by that and try to do whatever they can to thwart that. But all the women in the country, it's hard. It's hard to fight against everybody.
And see, and I love that because here's the thing: if I know what you're getting paid, and someone's offering me, you share it with me, and they're offering me a position, but we all have to stand together because I remember I was listening to, I don't remember if it was Tashina Arnold, and they were talking about salaries, and they realized that they weren't getting paid enough, so all the black actresses were going for the role, and they were offering the same money. So eventually, everybody said no, they're not taking the role. So then they had to bump up the salary, and I think that's what we need to do collectively. And that's one of the, because for me, it's easier talking to the younger girls to, hey, let's start supporting each other. Because empower, when I hear the word empower, I think it's oversaturated. We talk
Right.
about it a lot, but we still have a long way to go when it comes to supporting each other, because sometimes you can get more support from strangers than you can from the people that's definitely around you and in your community. So,
Right.
and I try to tell people when I'm talking to the young ladies, do, as you said, do your research and don't be afraid to walk away. Don't be afraid to walk away, because once you
Right.
take that salary, that's it. They got you, and it's going to be hard. So whether it's money, financially, we talk about financially, spiritually, mentally, whatever your worth is, be strong enough to walk away and say no. I'm
Well,
okay
and
with
they also have to understand other women's worth too, right? It's not just I deserve more.
that.
It's being in a position where you see another woman being offered something and they're not being paid as much as you're getting paid, and you're strong enough to say, "Hey, whoa, 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 whoa. If I'm getting paid this and we're doing the same position, why isn't she getting paid as much as I am?"
Mhm.
You wish that the men would do that. Wish the men in Hollywood would say, "Look, I'm getting $10 million for this film, and my co-star is a female, and she's only getting 3 million. Like, we got to work out something."
Mhm.
And so, there's just so much about there's so much of a me culture right now, and until
Yes.
we get over that and turn me into we, and turn that M upside down into a W, like we're gonna continue to struggle, and you're right, it's just gonna be lip surface, and
Mhm.
nothing's gonna get done.
And the thing is, what I find when I'm watching, especially basketball players, and how sometimes they may take a decrease in salary to bring someone on. And
Right.
I think that's, especially the men, that's what we need to do as women. Because, like you said, if we can do so many phenomenal things, we're caregivers, we give birth to nations.
Right.
We need to start really using our brain. Because one of the things I've implemented with my youngins, as I call them, is when you see a woman, make sure it's a woman you don't know. Go up and give her a compliment. You look beautiful, your teeth, your hair, your neck, whatever it is. Because and she may have never gotten a compliment for that day, and she may not get one. So
Right.
this is what we need to do. Start pouring into other people, other than
Right.
yourself, but make sure you're being, because one of the things I struggle with Doc is I would constantly give, 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 and my bank account was bouncing because no one was depositing anything into my emotional, physical, mental bank account. So I'm like, wait a minute, I got to take care of me first.
Right.
Then I can take care of my community. It's almost like when the plane goes down, you suck in the oxygen. So I'm now starting to do that. How are you? And if you are, are you balancing? Do you have a well balanced work life and personal life?
Absolutely. Nike is one of the best companies in the world in doing that. As a matter of fact, this past week, all of Nike employees had off just for wellness week. You didn't have to take PTO or anything like that. They just gave all the employees off for a week just to, and they do it every August just to get your mind right. And it's amazing. They offer amazing programs to the employees, and I'm just so blessed to be a part of such an amazing organization. And you would figure a company's so big, you may get employees lost and things like that, but it's just not the case. And so, when you work for someone who values you and values your personal life, then it makes it easier, right? It makes it easier to say, "Hey, I need a day off," just because. I don't need a reason, just because I just need a day off, and they're okay with that. And so, I'm so blessed to be able to work there, and just be a part of an incredible organization.
But it's also your energy, because you are what you attract. I definitely believe that. So because you're the person who you are, Nike had no choice but to bring you on board. I know we can say they're a phenomenal organization, and I'm sure they are. But also, you are one of their best assets. So they know that, you're adding value to them as well.
Well, I hope so. I hope that I'm doing that and continue to do that. But like I said, it makes it easier. When you're working for good people, you know, when you're in a good relationship, it makes it easier to be you,
That is so
especially
true.
when they allow you to be you.
Exactly. Because I see you just glowing over there. I thought it was the
It
light, honey.
might be the light. I think
No,
it's the
you
light.
glowing. You glowing. You got
I
that
appreciate
love
it.
glow going on. That's what you got.
Appreciate it.
But I don't want to keep you too long because again, you are such an inspiration to all of us out there, and I want you to know that we're giving you your roses. And if we were in the studio, I definitely would have done that. But there are other ways for us to support you. Is there anything that you're doing that you'd like everyone to know so we could support you what you're doing?
No, just come on TikTok and have a good time. And when I'm on live, you know, come on and have a good time with me. If you see me in public, uh, come up and speak. It's that's one thing is it's so awkward um when people are talking about me and oh that's auntie. Should we go up? And I can hear them talking
Yeah.
and they're afraid to come up or whatever. Just come up. I'm not gonna bite. I'm a pretty laid back gal and I'm gonna have fun. Just like I'm a little more reserved in real life than I am on social media. Um, but when the time calls, we'll act up, we'll laugh and have a good time.
You have just again, like I said, my anniversary is October 9th, and you have just fulfilled something that I wanted because I have a list of people and you were on that list.
Oh, thank
And
you.
you're just humble, you are giving to the world, and I just wish nothing but abundance for you, prosperity for you, great health, a great honeymoon, a great marriage,
Thank you.
and anything and everything your heart desires, I want the higher power to grant to you. So, again, I want to thank you for tuning in, everyone, to the Women Are Worthy Network. Don't forget to like, subscribe, make your comments, share with everyone, because this has just been an amazing thing, an amazing platform, an amazing interview. Because, again, I am just the facilitator. These beautiful people who come on as guests, but she's not a. Wait a minute, my phone's going off. Oh, the judge just said, Auntie, you have been approved. We are now kin folks,
That's
okay? We are now kin folks. The judge just granted the adoption.
there you go. Love it.
So again, thank you for being, part of the Women Are Worthy Network. And again, just have a wonderful evening, a
I
great
appreciate it.
week, and a great life. But I'm gonna see you again.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Okay.
you so
Have a
much.
good day.
All
All
right.
right.